Welcome everyone to Coral Clash High Tide number 7. The Nintendo dropped an update on us randomly in the middle of it edition. I am Breaks, and joining me is Yoshikai. How are you doing, Yoshikai?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm doing pretty well. Been kind of sitting on standby for a while. It kind of unfortunate we had an update, but I mean we got through it. Things are a little delayed, but we should be able to get right back on track here.
Yes, and we got some pretty good maps queued up today for our set 3 match between League of Legends and Risk Takers with Ship Cargo Code Tower as the first map, and we also see the new map of Marlin Zone as the second map.
Yeah,
So
definitely
yeah,
some interesting maps here. Excited to see how the teams handle these. I don't think there's any particularly bad ones, so I think should be able to have some pretty good matches. Believe these two are currently undefeated, so it'll be interesting to see how they play against each other.
yes, and we're launching now. We can see Sniper Rider, Stamper, ooh, ZF and Charger.
Ah, good to see
Even
that
Z
showing up.
Junior.
Yeah, definitely an interesting cast of weapons. Definitely shows the variety of weapons you see at the more
Yes.
mid-level.
Oh yeah. Also no Sniper Rider. It's instead end try on both teams.
Yeah, I think both teams clearly have a plan here, so I'm interested to see what they want to do. I mean, Sniper has been dominating top play, so definitely interesting to not see it here.
Yeah. But we see both teams are relatively even at the moment, although it looks like League of Legends are starting to get a push going. Although, no, that flank from Trey has caught them off guard, and now it's only the ZF up jumping out, allowing risk takers to push up.
Indeed. Oh, looks like they just got another pick there. Looks like they have a pretty sustained push going here. I'm interested to see if they'll be able to take some more
Yeah.
space and prevent them from getting back the tower.
Yes, that ZF is doing a good job pressuring the tower and slowing down that checkpoint break.
Stamper's trying to create some distraction, though, managing to displace the Zekofin a little bit. But we
Yeah,
got Azuka
did a
here.
good
I
job
think.
surviving it.
Oh, yeah. Looks like they did play off the Zuka, though, managing to grab the Stamper, and they've got the tower going back, which is good.
Yeah, when the tower is falling back, so League of Legends have done a good job stalling their push, allowing risk takers to push back in, but they haven't got the tower yet again. They need to grab it if they want those points.
Yeah, unfortunately, Risk Taker's very good at isolating off the enemy team, managing to grab that splatter shot, forcing the junior to jump out. Definitely a very well coordinated team here.
It's
Ooh, down
indeed,
goes the
and the
Stamper.
Stamper goes down before they can really displace anyone there, allowing the
Mm-hmm.
rest of League of Legends to get back in and displace pretty much everyone, and that's delayed wipe by the looks of it.
Very good retake there, but Risk Takers does have an impressive lead. As long as they don't take too many losses here, they should be able to hold on.
It's indeed, but that Stamper going down early without any trade doesn't make it a bit trickier.
Yeah, and the Tri-Slosher forced to jump out or risk potentially going down there.
Yes, allowing League to get to pretty much first checkpoint break, and three
Uh,
on each side, but that's Lemon being pressured off the tower,
Ooh,
and that's two more
really good
down.
retake there. Risk
Yeah.
Takers
Oh,
sends their Stamper, and he unfortunately goes down, but he manages to sneak a jump in from the junior, and they do not expect it. Really good play there.
yes, alongside the Squeezer showing off their ability to just block off that ramp area and get some picks as well. That's
Oh
useful.
yeah, very useful.
The
See the
shot
shot
pushing
trying
in.
to get the right side there. Looks like a Stamper also went down.
It's an
Ooh.
ooh dropped down and got pressure and got pinched.
Think he got maybe blown up from a bomb off the big bubbler, but not sure there.
Possibly.
Looks like Risk Taker still has a push here, though. Oh, they managed to grab one with Bazooka. Looks like they
Yeah,
weakened some others as well.
yeah,
Zerk have been
Lemon's
desperately
been.
trying to stop the tower advance.
Yes, the strikes go out, stopping everyone, and they're further away from the tower, and the Stamper goes down, but Risk Takers are still back in there and not letting up. And Prey's
Hmm.
behind the rest of the League of Legends before having to quickly jump back, leaving the
Just the
Stamper
Stamper
left there.
there. Ooh, they're cleaning up
They
pretty
get a
well,
pick.
though. They still have mid, and looks like they can get another push going. Very, very impressive on the Stamper there. See him sharking on the right side at the moment. Oh, he is going in.
Yes,
Trying to
yes.
poke the charger, I believe.
Doing a little bit of chip, goes down though, but the Bazooka's out to pressure the charger. Doesn't
Forcing
get
him to
any
move.
picks.
Still, though, displacing the charger can be
True.
valuable.
True.
Ooh,
Ooh,
he
goes
gets
down before it
sniped,
can
though.
pop the Zuka.
Yeah. Let's see here. League of Legends definitely needs to get a push going soon, though.
Yeah, they
As
need.
it's definitely risky to try and push in overtime.
Yeah, but they can't even get control of mid at the moment, which is creating a challenge trying to get even a push going.
Hmm.
Especially when you've got the squeezer going into the base and then just popping back out,
Yeah.
and they
Looks like
can't
this.
quite get the tower.
Nope. Looks like believe it was Risk Takers. They definitely seem to be a pretty solid team here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and to confirm the earlier point, Risk Takers and League of Legends are two of the teams who are undefeated at the moment.
Of course.
So they're both very strong teams matching up against each other.
Yeah. That was definitely a very nice ship shape game. You know, fair bit of back and forth, though I think Risk Takers was able to have more control over the mid area. League of Legends not being able to gather the resources to retake, which definitely a bit of a challenge on ship shape.
Yes, indeed. Especially when you got Zukas and the Splatana Stamper being able to harass that back line and prevent anyone from really setting up in a good defensive position.
Yeah, indeed. The Stamper was certainly very useful, and I think it was definitely needed given they decided to not take a backline on the map. Given how open it is, certainly a risk, but I think the Squeezer Stamper combo managed to make up for that.
Indeed, no backline, but the two, like a long-range midliner, certainly pull that off. And but we'll see what they pull out next for Marlin Zone.
Yeah, definitely interested. I haven't watched too many tournaments recently, so I'm curious to see how teams will handle the new Marlin map.
Yeah, there's been a few. Still very much a bit in development at the moment. It's been out for less than a month. But
Hmm.
everyone looks to be going with pretty similar concepts except for a Splashing Machine and NZAP on League of Legends.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I think the machine offers some more defensive value, so I think maybe they're hoping that it could prevent risk takers from getting in too far on their side.
Hopefully, but Trey's already trying to get a bit of a flank going, but the machine's doing a good job of holding them back.
Indeed, and it looks like I think there is a shot taking a flank though. Let's see if he gets any value out of that. It's got the squeezer backing him
Yes.
up.
Oh, the
Squeezer goes
squeezer ended up
down.
being fringed though.
The shot is still there, and he got a Zuka
They
taking the end zap down.
it just got down. Yeah, that was a good pinch.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, the League of Legends own shot couldn't get in there and actually went down, allowing League of Legends to get in, and now they're breaking into the base.
Yeah, I think definitely a position League does not want to be in. I mean, last time Risk Takers was really good at holding space. Looks like they are forced it back into mid, but that doesn't mean they're out yet. They still have the zone
Yeah, they're
ticking
still
down.
holding the propeller lift.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've personally found that propeller is really nice for the attackers to hold. It just gives some really nice high ground on the defender's base.
It's indeed, especially when pretty much the whole of Risk Takers is back into the spawn area again.
Forced to use specials out of desperation. Not a lot of time,
Yes,
though.
they
I
get 2
think
picks.
they
They
might be able
might have
to.
enough good paint.
Ah,
No.
no, unfortunately, they just ran out of time, just barely not being able to take it back. Looks like it unfortunately went neutral after the time had ended.
Yes, that burning so many specials on trying to break out of their own base just slow them down a bit too much trying to actually paint up in the zone again.
Mm-hmm. I think
And really,
I think it definitely shows Risk Takers as a very good team. I mean, I think it's definitely in their title. You know, they wanted to play some riskier weapons, you know, go in, try and take fights. I mean, you could definitely see that with the shot chilling in the left side at the start and the, you know, Stamper Zipcaster just going all over the place, causing a mess.
yes, indeed. But those two maps have had a bit more mid-high ground, as seen with the propeller lift and the couple platforms around mid on Marlin and Chip K respectively. But Museum doesn't quite have this, like it doesn't have quite as much that high ground. You still got the spinners, so if you can capture those, that can provide some high ground. But you don't have much else otherwise if you're an attacker.
Indeed. Though what Museum does have are some decent flanks, and they are flanks that Stamper and Shot can certainly take advantage of. Interested to see
Even
if
the
one of them will
squeezer.
go off. Yeah, indeed. All right, no comp
I'm
change
sticking
here.
with the same comp.
Indeed. Looks like we have no flanks, but we do. I probably the try building up an early cooler. I see the rest trying to go
Looks
for
like
pop.
it. Meanwhile,
Uh,
Stamper and Shot have already traded, going down, and the machine goes down as well. That is an early risk takers pushing, starting off, which they're trying to snowball.
yeah. See the Rainmakers getting set up on the right side, trying to apply pressure. Probably. Ooh, even
Yes, and they
managed to
get a
grab a pick.
pick. Yes, and that's on
They
the
are.
shot as well, a key
Yeah.
frontliner.
Making
And
sure
they
to be
get the early
patient,
dunk.
though. Very, very important to be patient. Wait for people to go down so you don't get shredded.
Yes, but they did show that patience, but also the ability to know when they actually had the space to move in instead of waiting too long.
Indeed. It also looked like
Wow, that was some excellent mobility
Wow.
as they rushed to 11.
That is insane. I mean, I did notice League of Legends burned a lot of specials off of Booyah and Izuka. They didn't get much value with it as the checkpoint, as the Rainmaker was respawning on the checkpoint. We can see them trying to back out, but the Tri-Slosher cuts him off.
Yes. That's the issue. When the Tri-Slosher going down, painting up for cooler, they're in a position to intercept the drop, but it's in an awkward space for risk takers to push from, but they don't really need that push.
Yeah, it looks like deciding to maybe camp it in there for a little bit, just trying to prevent anyone from dropping on it. Though I think they are in the Rainmaker free zone, so yeah, it
Yes,
looks like
they go down.
they get dropped on. Oh,
And
there goes the
Stampers
Stamper.
survived a ways in the base there, and the Squeezers had to retreat, allowing League to retake their plat, but they don't have mid control at all.
Yeah, good on the Squeezer for dropping out. I mean,
Two
much
go
better to
down
try and hold mid.
immediately. Three go down.
Just the Zekov, and he's desperately trying to back up, not wanting to go down. He has strikes, could be very useful for holding as much space as they
Yes,
can.
we do see the machine get a pick. Zekofin's pushing up.
We have the Squeezer sharking too.
The Rainmaker went down and has been reset.
Yeah, I mean, risk takers, they took the risks super early on. They don't have to take any more risks right now. I mean, a push to 11, like, probably not going to get much better, but looks like they are opting to hold it in the corner. It's usually a pretty good stall spot on
back
this
in the
map.
Rainmaker free zone as well.
Yeah, gonna want to avoid that because I think they want to hold it as long as possible in there.
Yes, it looks like they might have moved out of there now, but
Yeah, appears
still
so.
they're getting control of the enemy plateau, and the Stamper's behind.
Ooh, the strikes
Sharking,
forcing them in
there's
and
three
unfortunately
down.
going down. Good
Yes,
strikes
but
play,
Stamper
but
got 3 down.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're still just trapped on their plat. I don't know if they're too afraid to try and push in, or they just can't seem to get the enemy team out of the plat. Got a Booyah coming in, see if they take advantage of it. Do you get the Stamper?
Yes, and they've got a Zuka ready, which is popped. Can it get any picks?
No, I think
No,
you go
Blom
down
ends
to a
up.
bomb or something. Unfortunate. Yeah, I
Yes, and
think
we see another go down.
I think
Three
League of
down
Legends,
again.
I think maybe playing a little too passive. I saw them pausing on the cooler rather than trying to carry the momentum of the Stamper, just allowing risk takers to, well, be able to hold space without much pressure.
Yeah, and they also get isolated fairly easily, where you can end up with the Stamper goes in disrupt, or the Squeezer fires off shots and splits them up, and then the shot can
Hmm.
kind of pick them off at its leisure.
Yeah, like we got another Booyah here, but it was more of a panic Booyah. Does manage to grab a couple picks, which is
That's,
good, but
yes, it's three
definitely on
down, which is
accident.
good, but
VC not.
still not. Ooh,
Zekova
nice
gets a
shot.
good, if they can get momentum off this.
Yes, but
Don't
there's
see what's going on the right
uh,
side, but yeah, not didn't take too much space off that. Unfortunate.
yes, and at least some of the enemy team are cooled up, which makes it even more difficult to get those fight wins.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Another Zuka
Stamp.
pop,
Zuka
but
misplay on the
doesn't get the
Stamper though.
Stamper.
That's definitely not good.
They go down, they go down before they can move the Rainmaker out of there, and that means Risk Takers take this set 3-0.
Definitely a dominating victory there. Not even allowing League to get a single point on the board. That is
Yes.
insane.
Yeah, this has gotten the most aggressive of the three games from Risk Takers. They take the risks, but they also know when they can take them. They can know how to disrupt the team. They recognize when they're disrupted and when they have that little bit of momentum which they try to snowball.
Indeed. I think very, very good plays. I think League of Legends probably playing a little too much around their cooler. I think there might have been some opportunities for them to even though it is a big risk, sometimes you just have to fight without the cooler. It's not going to be around the whole time, and if you wait, you might let go of a really good opportunity to recover.
Yes, indeed. And also the matter of just making sure you don't go down so much that you end up losing cooler regularly.
Yeah,
That seems
indeed.
to be an issue, staying alive.
Yeah, I did notice that like risk takers, like the one of them was just able to come in, get a surprise pick on them, and they just have to retreat quite a bit. So definitely not potentially not isolating fights properly. Maybe getting into 1v1s where they could have taken 2v2s or
Yes,
2v1s. My bad.
yes, indeed. But that shows how good risk takers are at being able to actually apply such disruption.
Hmm. Though I do think they also did try and build a comp around causing a lot of disruption.
Oh,
They definitely wanted to
definitely.
go with faster weapons that could get trades, get picks, and generally not care too much if they go down. I mean, tries a QR weapon. I don't think Squeezer plays QR, but it can play aggressive. Old Stamper builds
Yes.
did play QR. They don't anymore, but they still have cooler to fall back on.
Yeah. I mean, like the shots, the cooler, even the Entry, which is a more aggressive pick, more aggressive cooler pick than you might see from your typical sniper rifles or even NZAP.
Yeah, I think the end try was because the player happens to be a bucket main, so I think they wanted to take advantage of that, knowing that they would be particularly skilled using that weapon and allowing the other three to play really aggressive Slayer weapons.
Yes, indeed. That worked out pretty well. But anyway, while we're in uh, we're going to a quick break while we get round 4 set up. See you all soon. And welcome back from that short break. We are here with the fourth and final set of group stage for Coral Cloud Tide, and we have Stardust Ink Status versus Team DDD Smash.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Very quick round 3. Already getting right back into the swing of things.
Yes. Indeed, but any thoughts on these teams? Recognize any particular players?
Not particularly. I mean, I know the audience can't see this, but King DDD's icon is just T-posing DDD spinning around, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, good old T-pose character model.
Yeah.
Luckily, not the total bug this time.
Thankfully. Alrighty. Looks like we have the maps here. Going to be starting on Crab Lake Capital Clamblitz. I mean, definitely a map I enjoy, and I think it's probably one of Crab Lake's stronger modes due to having plenty of routes to get to the clam basket.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong one with the different ways of positioning, because you got the low ground way where you got all that paint, but paintable turf, but you're kind of also vulnerable from the high ground. If you want to claim that high ground, you usually end up needing to go over the grates where you are more visible and vulnerable.
Yeah, it definitely balances that risk reward fairly well. I mean, probably use a few improvements, but I think it's a pretty solid stage, and definitely, I think for competitive, it is nice to have a stage that you can't snowball too hard on due to needing to typically take 2 team fights to score in the basket.
Yes, indeed, that is always useful, and we will see how. But you can still snowball a bit if you end up letting the teams get too much turf, like get too many fights won, and they end up snowballing over the grate. So there's still a little bit of challenge there where you need to be careful, but yes, it snowballs a lot less than some other maps.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, definitely kind of a trend for some of these maps. I mean, Manta Tower also be a little bit harder to snowball, and I mean ship-shaped zones, but we'll get to those 2 later. So I think definitely excited to see how both teams go into this. I mean, I'm sure the Smash guys are very used to those more elevated stages and taking the high ground. So see if they manage to do that.
But you still have to watch out for the water hazards as well. So hopefully they're also familiar enough with the hazards ready for Manta and Shipshape.
Actually, it is a bit of theme. A lot of verticality in all 3 of these maps. So curious to see if that'll affect their decisions when making comps.
Yes, indeed. Always nice to see verticality on a Splatoon stage where you can swim up walls.
Yeah, it's also nice to actually see those walls be paintable.
That too. It's one of the things which could definitely be added into a few more maps.
Yeah, I mean, kind of wish the map designers looked a little more at maps like old Flounder and were like, walls are nice. We should make more of them paintable.
Yeah. Yeah, like Flounder would be pretty good if it wasn't for how you can snowball from mid pretty hard.
Yeah.
Just again, paintable walls.
Yeah, I mean, don't know why they decided to reroute the tower path on Flounder, but I mean, it's a discussion for another time.
Yes, indeed. We don't have it here, and who knows whether we'll actually see it again in a competitive setting.
Yeah, probably be zones if we do, because probably it's best map.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess talking a little bit more about Crab Leg, I mean, given the level of play we're at, I would be interested to see if they decide to go for the classic Snipe Rider or maybe mix it up a little bit. I mean, mobile backlines like the Ballpoint have been known to work really well on maps of a lot of greats like Crab Leg and Manta. So curious to see if we'll see the classic backline come back for a couple stages here.
Yes, indeed. But you also have to watch out for that sheer range and disadvantage that those Spladlings do have.
Range and mobility, certainly a deadly combo. Certainly
Yeah.
associated with a certain school supplies tool.
Yes, indeed.
Alright. Well, it looks
Yes,
like
the teams are just getting ready, so
yeah.
might as well talk a little bit more about the map then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got the
I think
good. So yeah, you go
for
ahead.
crab leg, I mean, I think I'll be interested to see if they take advantage of the flanks because you can go through low ground. I mean, you could try and dive on top of the from the high ground. So
Oh yeah.
pretty open map. So even though it's not as many paintable walls, there are still plenty of ways to get around.
Oh
Looks like
yeah.
game's gonna be starting here soon.
Yes, indeed. So you do have that option. Like the flexible backliners will definitely be needed. This way they can keep watch over those little sticky flank routes, which you might have a shot or a dualies dive through.
Indeed. And I mean, of course, with all the greats, I think AoE is certainly pretty useful. So might be the potential for some blasters or maybe even cheeky slosher.
Ooh, definitely Slosher, and we could also see blasters and sloshers on the next map as well. So that could be a deciding factor as well.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
already got players ready.
yeah, I did notice from some top level analysis. I mean, slosher's been on the rise at the moment. More of a zones thing, but I think there's still a lot of potential for it.
Yes, indeed. Everyone's getting in, and ZF again.
Hmm. We got a wiper here. Looks like, ooh, might even be a good idea. I see a range blaster, and a good
And
wiper
as he
player can
said,
deal with the
Slosher.
range. Yeah. Very interesting, very different comp dynamics on both sides. One opting for some more AoE, while the other opting to take a backline.
And not even particularly long midlines either. Like, we saw Risk Takers go backlineless, but they still had a lot of midline pressure with that Stamper and Squeezer, whereas here, the longest ranged weapon which DDD have is a ranged blaster.
Yeah, and I mean, they also only have one Zuka and no Zipcaster to poke the backline if things get tough.
Yes, indeed. And there's
Looks like,
also that wipe.
yeah, looks like pretty even games so far. There are a couple picks back and forth, but not too much space. Though, it looks
Inkstaters
like we have a
are.
push coming in. I
Yes,
spoke too
Inkstaters
soon.
have gotten in.
It looks like
Managed to
Charger
just
getting
slip
set up
in.
on the elbow there.
Yes, but it looks like DDD have reacted pretty quickly and trying and have done a fairly good job pushing out Inkstaters. And as
Yeah.
I say that, they're giving several more clams keeping the basket open.
Yeah, though it looks like they should be recovering here. The last couple clams went through, and looks like we got back to mid here.
It's still 59 points. That's a very strong first push from Inkstaters.
Oh, indeed. I mean, first minute 30, we're already past below 50. I mean, if anyone's got any LDE, it's kicked in already, pretty fast.
Yes, indeed. We see
Oh,
all three go down
counter
though
push
from
coming in here.
Inkstaters. Possibly.
Oh, we do have a
And
Zuka though. We'll
losing.
see. Does manage to grab one pick. We do have the range blaster in. Oh, but he's all alone.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
But
they
they get a
can't support him
trade.
and they go down.
Yeah, Slosher tries to go in, but goes down as well, leaving the N-Zap, I think, to fall back.
Yeah. Does manage to get out though. Definitely important because allows him to get a cooler up for the team.
Yes, indeed, and we're back to neutral again, but it looks like Inksaid is already prepping for their next push with the Power Clan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they managed to grab a double there. I think just the bucket, and they
Yes,
pick him off too.
another. Yes, that's pretty much everyone pushed back, but the shot's still holding the space, doing a good job of that, preventing Inksaders from actually claiming space off of that fight win.
Yeah, though it do looks like he jumps down and allows the Wiper to get up, but the Wiper doesn't want to take any risks and decides to back up a little bit. Ooh, almost
Yes, they throw the
a good
stand.
hammer play. Holy crap!
Yes, but two go down in that push. and they can't
Ooh.
quite get that extra power clam in. So they knocked out the pity essentially, but not much more.
Yeah. Though, because it's crab leg, King DD can't fully get a counter push, but they do have mid, which is definitely respectable. As long as they take their time, build some specials up, they
Yes,
should be able to get something going here.
and they're getting the flank route going with that end zap. They
Ooh,
got strikes out.
smart strikes. Really good strikes, allowing the NZAP to come in and grab a pick, starting a push.
Yes,
Looks like
yes, they got their push
maybe,
going, but the wiper is stalling pretty well
yeah.
and
I
manages to even get out.
Yeah, I think they had plans to jump a pity in. We'll see if maybe they keep. Oh, they do that. They jump
They
the pity,
do!
take lead. Impressive.
Yes, that was a very narrow jump in, and but an excellent job of them getting it in, and still more clams. If they can get
Only
two
two
more
left.
regular clams
Oh,
in,
but
to
the
go
wipeout,
down.
the
Stardust
zap gets
Inkstaters.
greedy and goes down. We got a full
Yes,
flank here, or a full counter push here.
yes, and Inkstaters have already
Oh no!
retaliated
Oh
from their
no!
basket break, and the wiper gets in with the pity.
If
But
they
they
can
can't
get that
can they
last
get in that
ball
next
in,
one? Yes, can they? Even one more?
unfortunately
No,
not.
they can't.
That
Even
was
a regular
really
clam would
close.
have been good.
I think they could
Yeah,
have done it had they played a little differently with the power clam. Probably could have knocked the game out right there.
Yeah, second jump in would have been good for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely shows you really have to be careful. I mean, the ends up getting kind of greedy there. Got the other team really close to almost knocking them out.
Yes, indeed. Like, as much as you want to be greedy when you're two clams away from a KO, you gave Inkstaters so much space to work with, and
Yeah.
and they haven't really lost that space either.
Nope, they still have plenty of time in overtime as long as they're careful. Looks like they have something
The
coming in
range
here.
goes
Fair few
down,
strikes
but
coming in.
another one goes down.
Ooh, and the
Get
wiper
another
there.
one
That
in.
that should be enough.
That is just enough to claim the lead.
Impressive comeback, really managing to take advantage of the other team's fumble there and expertly holding space. I mean, I think they did have a comp that was good at holding space. You got the Zekofin there with wall and tri-strike.
Yeah, but even beyond that sheer holding of space, they still did a great job of actually claiming it as well whenever King DDD would get that little bit too aggressive and pushing that bit hard. They could get that wipe and then just turn mid into their turf color.
Oh yeah, they were managing to move in really fast, and I also noticed pretty good at playing around the strikes, allowing the fast weapons like the Zap and the Wiper to get in and cause some havoc.
Oh yeah. And the Viper was also really good at skirmishing to avoid going down as well, which just distracted King DDD so much from the other threat.
Yeah, it also does help. Wiper's really good against Range Blaster, and I think that probably reduced the effectiveness of the weapon, and that was their longest ranged weapon, so not being able to
Yeah.
get full effectiveness is definitely not good.
Yeah, it's just several factors, both compositional and playstyle, which led to Stardust Inkstaters doing pretty well there. But even despite all those disadvantages, with Stardust Inkstaters' strong special timing, their strong claiming of space, and their range and composition advantage, DDD still nearly got that KO.
I mean, it could have gone any way. Like, they literally needed 2 more clams, and the Zap had 3 very easily. Like, if they didn't have that Zuka, probably would have been a knockout right then and there.
Yes, indeed. And likewise, if Stardust Inkstaters couldn't have gotten in those last couple of clams right at the end, or even if that NZAP hadn't have gotten greedy and held that bit of space, so that way Inkstaters couldn't have pushed in and gave time for the rest of DDD to respawn, that Stardust Inkstaters mightn't have even gotten their next push going. They might have been stuck doing that push to 20 in overtime and needing to get those additional points on top of that 20.
Oh yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how things go. I mean, very small decisions can lead to big outcomes in the game, and I mean, very important to watch replays on that kind of thing so you can try and identify potential changes to make.
Yes, indeed. Looks like the same comp from Inkstaters and
Both
the same
sides
comp
here.
from... Yeah, both sides are stuck with the same composition.
I mean, I think that makes sense. It's a little risky to run the range because of the wiper, but Manta's a good map for AoE, so I can see why they would want to
Yeah.
stick with it.
Yeah, and Talon's also a particularly good mode as well, so it adds up fairly well, even if a bit surprising they didn't add in a squeezer, for example.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some range might have been useful, especially because of the Zeko Fin. And it
Yes,
looks
and
like do have a push coming in here.
yes,
Not
we
sure how
do,
far it'll
and
get.
interesting to see as well the difference in the flanks as well. Like the shot from DDD tried to go through and just went down, while the wiper got out, like it did a first flank, got out, and got a second flank and picked there.
That was
They are
insane.
they're just not going down and allowing Inkstaters to push him pretty hard into second check.
Yeah, I mean, Viper's not typically a weapon you see in a primary comp, but dang, I mean, really good pick to stick with. I think they recognized the advantages it can bring against this particular comp.
Yes, indeed.
And I mean,
we do see.
I think as well, like that Viper player's definitely impressive. I mean, managing to get the splat and follow up with the hammer, like that was pretty good
Oh
stuff.
yeah, very much so. And we do see trades on both sides. No one's quite gotten full control yet, but that does think Crusaders are 2 down.
Mm-hmm. DD should be able to get some good space here, as Stardust does have some of their members respawning. Oh, Strike's
Yeah.
coming down. That is good.
Especially
they
when
do
you
get a
got
pick.
Viper on defense.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
also
Viper on
did
defense-
lose the zap, but not before they got a cooler off. So Stardust, especially if that Viper,
Well,
can probably recover
That
here.
Viper comes out from behind and goes, "No, you're not getting that push going."
Yeah, I mean, you know, Hammer is maybe not the best special in the game right now, but it can cause a lot of damage if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, you have to watch out for that big landing area, or else you're not going to have a pretty day.
Yeah, I think Manta's also a good map for it. All the cover allows it to pop out from around corners, which negates some of the weaknesses.
Oh yes, indeed, and that just fits into how well we're seeing the Viper play around this area.
Yeah. Going in again. I mean, the Viper and the shot both going in with the strikes, very useful. And we see the
Yes.
zap trying to isolate the
Looks-
range. Does go down, though. It is unfortunate.
Yes, that is a challenge, but two of them in DDD go down, including the range who wasn't cool it up.
Yeah, definitely a good play of Stardust shot to go back into the street after noticing the zap goes down so that way the range can't get too much value on the tower. So definitely smart play rather than just diving right into the enemy base.
Yes, indeed, and we see DDD trying to flush them out, but even with only 2 up, they're doing a pretty good job holding, including
The
Viper's
Viper.
still in the enemy base.
That's
But they're back
definitely
to
risky.
defend.
I think the Viper
Yeah,
probably will hammer from behind, I would suspect. Yep, here it comes.
Yes,
Oh,
but
the
they get
Zuka.
zooted.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
DDD definitely keeping an eye out for that Viper and managing to counter it very well.
yes, indeed, and it was also a little bit far back to get in there in time to really help with this checkpoint defense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think pushing up a little earlier probably would have helped, but they do recover pretty well here. Oh, I spoke too
gets a
soon.
flank. Yeah, Mega got a good flank there, but just go down to the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. Looks like might have a lead switch depending on how things go. Unfortunately,
Yes,
they
it's
go
very
down,
narrow.
barely not getting the
Yeah.
lead.
Yes, and with 50 seconds left to go, it's going to be hard to push back in again, but you never know.
They do have the strikes on the bucket, so they pop him a little early though. Let's see if they can take space off that.
No,
The
they
wipe,
don't. In fact, the
Slosher
bucket
goes
down
down.
to wipe.
yeah, and then the Zuka comes out, almost killing the range.
And the Zap's been pressured out of bunker. Ooh, but 2 off of that Zuka.
Damn, yeah,
But you gotta
unfortunately.
watch out, there's a flank behind.
Ooh, we got
Wiper.
the Zeko and the Wiper. Oh, Wiper goes
Yeah,
down. Zeko's still alive
Zeko-
though.
A Zeko flank is a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, it worked though. They managed to hold the tower into overtime, and DDD couldn't
Gave
get another
jumps, it
push.
gave strikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it stopped their push dead.
I mean, it seems weird, but Zekovin does have a wall and a nasty one shot, you know? It can stall an area if you need it to.
Oh yeah, but you also don't usually expect to look on the right-hand side as you're pushing up for it.
Yeah, I know. Definitely catch some players off guard if you're not careful, and I think that might have been what they were going for.
Yeah, I think it did do a good job catching them off guard. Could have possibly done more checking there, especially because you never know that it could be the wiper or the NZAP there, depending on how you're tracking the opponents. There was a lot of enemy turf there, and you don't want to waste space and waste time with it, but you also don't want to let an opponent just sit there ready to shark.
Yeah, I mean, especially during that game and other ones, like members from Stardust have flanked the Zap, the Wiper. They've definitely flanked, so DDD probably should have been more careful checking, as that was a strategy that Stardust had been employing.
Yes, indeed, and they'll need to be particularly careful with it on Ship-Shape Cargo Co.
Yeah, I mean, I like ship shape, but I understand get trying to recover on a lockout in this map is pretty difficult. But I like the layout of zones with the high ground pillars, and I think the terrain is pretty interesting, almost like a Flounder Heights light.
Yeah, we've seen some. Yeah, it's interesting. It's got that the mobile mid of Flounder, but it also has that Flounder issue of being a bit too high in mid and a bit hard to recover from. I also think some people actually associated with Arawana more because you have that path along the edge, which you can take the choke point through the choke point into the enemy base, which you need to get through if you want to get there, but also that high ground around it, and that mid being a bit of a different shape.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It can be a little choke heavy. I think the mid is a little narrow on this mode, and not having that left side filled out is definitely a concern. But I mean, still a pretty decent map. The right side's not too bad on retake, and I think the geometry on mid is pretty creative for weapons to battle it out.
Yeah, I think the removal of those grates on the right hand side as you're trying to retake is really good for preventing those snowballs.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, we got a
And
try coming
okay,
out.
I did not expect even more AoE to be the solution.
We got the double bucket coming in. They're really going all out on the AoE.
Yeah, double bucket blaster is not what I expected.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see how they play off it, though.
Ooh, the range
Range
gets
goes down to
pinched
the
by the
Wiper
wiper.
Classic. The Wiper's
Yes,
behind them in their base right now. So they're trying
yes,
to isolate the members of King DDD.
they're doing well. Get a pick, but you still got that wiper in the base, and
We got the
the
try jumping in,
Dynamo
though.
is
Oh,
yeah. The
unfortunately, he
try
gets
was
collapsed on.
isolated with everyone behind. That
Yeah,
was
I think he got a little too greedy there trying to get the Zekofin and got punished for it. Definitely risky because he's also the cooler player.
yes, indeed. That try can be aggressive, but now they're in lockout, and this is hard to get out of if you've got a not sniper rider, if you've got a ZF watching you and you don't have
Yeah.
anything longer range than a ranged blaster.
Also doesn't help that their Zuga goes down, not getting much value.
Yes, the Slosher pushes in trying to retake, but doesn't actually get anything off of it.
I mean, not a lot of time remaining. I don't think they can come back from this one. They have to get key picks in like the next 2 seconds, so we'll see what happens.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
maybe.
the key pick.
Ooh.
That it's verging, but
Oh,
knowing
oh.
Satyrs might. Oh
Ah.
wow, that was so narrow.
Yeah, I mean, they basically had to pile themselves on there and just kind of hope they like skill diff the other team. So very unfortunate there. I definitely
Yes, that
think
was.
King DDD probably could have benefited from having an additional retake special, maybe another Zuka or maybe even a crab tank to try and handle some of the back lines and the Zukas that Stardust was throwing out.
Yeah, like retake special or just someone a bit longer range who can help hold that bit better as well as fight that ZF.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
If it's a
Stardust going 3-0, definitely an impressive team there.
yes, and how are the standings looking thus far as we are right at the end?
Yeah.
Group stage and matches should be wrapping up soon. There's still a couple matches going. Wavebreaker on 1-1 against Alliance Moon, and Risk Takers are two up against Never Back Down, a common pickup you see in these higher level events. So Risk Takers are doing really well here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Risk Taker's managing to win against Never Back Down. I mean, that definitely would have been an interesting set to watch. Two teams that would probably go for a lot of aggressive picks.
Oh yes, indeed. But we might see such aggressive picks in the next set, like in when we get to the bracket stage.
Indeed. I mean,
Yeah. So
looking at the standings so far, it appears Risk Takers is definitely going to be the number one. I believe they didn't lose a single time. But there's also Stardust, Never Back Down. They will only have Stardust and Never Back Down. Looks like they will only have one loss each. So also some potential there from those three teams.
yes, and it looks like everyone else like the Wavebreaker and Alliance Moon are fighting for lower bracket seeding,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like Grave Garden might have just edged out King DDD for getting that position in for another position in gold bracket.
Yeah, appears so. I think the only way they don't get in is if Wavebreaker or Alliance Moon has a better stats. However, I'm not sure if that will be the case.
Yeah, like it will depend on who wins. Their win percent is currently fairly low, so it seems, but the opponent win percent. Wavebreaker do have a decent shot if they can win it,
Mm-hmm.
but Alliance Moon would probably not. So that's something to keep an eye out on as we go into break as these last couple of matches wrap up, and then we see brackets. And I think that is it from you tonight for now, Yoshikai. So where can the folks find you elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably find me on Twitter/X if I get around to posting. I do stream occasionally on the Squid and Near channel. I mean, my team's been on hiatus for the past month or so, but we should be getting back into tournaments soon. So I'll definitely be streaming more in the future. Definitely been fun to commentate the couple group brackets. I mean, technical issues aside, it's definitely been nice to get back after being so busy with a lot of midterms.
Oh yes, indeed. And that I'll be continuing on with bracket stage. At least that's the current plan. So, and thank you to Joyan for streaming this first and like if we're streaming the bracket stage, and for also continuing on to the if we're streaming group stage, and we'll continue on to bracket stage, and we will go to a break.
Hey,
And welcome
welcome.
back, you guys.
This is Coral Clash High Tide once again. I believe back for bracket now. Am I incorrect?
Yes, we are back for bracket. We are in the semi-final with a match between Risk Takers and Grape Garden.
Ooh, we love to see it. We love to see it. Um, Also, I really kind of like both these names. I'm loving the Grape Garden, the double G there. And also Risk
Yes,
Takers.
yes,
We love a good risk taker.
yes, and we're actually getting straight into Crab Lake Capital Rainmaker, and it'll be interesting how Grape Garden goes against the aggressive team that is Risk Takers.
Yes, for sure. Okay, we are seeing a Stamper. Not too surprising. Not sure why I'm like obsessing over that. Roller and
Yes,
Tetra. I
interesting.
haven't seen a Tetra in a while.
Yeah, Tetra is an unusual pick, as is the Crack-On. Oh,
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
oh, someone might
maybe
have
it
been
was
on
an
the
unintentional
wrong
pick.
team. Yeah. Someone might have been on the wrong team there. I was surprised to see Splatter Shot instead of Squeezer on Risk Takers.
Yeah, interesting pick actually. I think Squeezer's like really, 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 really good right now. So it's kind of surprising to see a team without it.
Well, one team have gone without it, but Risk Takers have used it in this stamp to essentially replace the backline. So they run back, at least in the previous sets where they ran backlineless and were very aggressive and disrupted the enemy teams and just claimed those fight wins.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
Well,
guess we just talk about Crab Leg a bit while they wait and get ready again. So,
yes.
um, okay, Crab Leg Rainmaker, interesting. I I don't know. Crab League's growing on me as a stage. I'm finding it more and more fun the more like time it's been in the game.
Is that fun or Stockholm Syndrome fun? Hopefully the former.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. It's you know, it's just like I really like how it has coverage in mid. Like I feel like a lot of maps don't really have that. I mean, I know it's fairly open, but then also you have the flanks on the side, which is always nice. And also the grates are kind of cool as just like a little bit of extra kind of pizzazz to playing on it.
Yeah, and we're back again. Yes, but again we'll see how well those flanks can be used by written by the teams.
All right, Squeezer coming back.
And Bamboo and Nord and Julie's like the Dark Tetris. That's an interesting mix.
They're really going for that off meta right now.
Yes, indeed. And oh, the bucket gets a bit too close and goes down, which really delays Risk Taker's cooler.
Ooh, Trey tries to go for a flank and does get a pick on that bamboo. Oh,
Ooh,
and on
right.
okay,
Wow,
okay.
that's the delayed wipe.
Really good
Yeah, it
on their
looked like
part.
yeah, Trey could have gotten like they could have Grape Garden could have gotten a good win there, but Trey's flank just threw everyone out.
Yeah, for sure. That's an extremely, extremely good flank from them. That really just cleared up the entire enemy team.
Yeah, and they do a
They
good
still
job.
try to make the push happen, but clearly it did unfortunately get a little cut off there. And with that, it looks like the Grape Garden team has taken mid.
Yeah, it's good on them, especially responding to the quick like Risk Takers did a good job repositioning from that attempt to from going okay, we can't take the first checkpoint we expected, let's go for the other, but again, Trey is disrupting them, but as Grape Garden have the very narrow lead at the moment.
Yeah. And with that, Risk Takers comes straight back into it, trying to get recontrol. They do manage to break the checkpoint. Ooh, fire,
Yes,
crazy.
very
And they go continue it with another Rainmaker pickup.
yes. Can they get further? They do. They're at 27. They're rushing through, and Leonidas goes down again.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. I love how they're still trying to make this happen, and clearly it's working for them because they keep on getting more and more and more and more and more points.
Yeah. Throwing bodies is working for them. it might. And Graveguard in a 2 down, 3 down. Well, that's a wipe again.
You know, I guess brute forcing it and really just being completely ruthless, not letting anything go the opposite of your way, really works out for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, like they did lose
Like,
that first push, but once they got that space, they just held.
yeah, I mean, especially like that initial flank, like that really just showed how skilled all of the individual team members were.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, okay. Next
did
map
have-
up is Robo Ramen on Clams. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bit of a different one. Well, not that different. It's a pretty common
Yeah.
one, but you do have to watch out for that little bit of high ground which you can set up on for the defense. Like when you're on offense, trying pushing the basket, you've got a few bits of high ground which you can set up a crab tank or a sniper rider on. So you have to be good at being able to disrupt those threats as well as whatever else there is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think this map's just really good because it has so many places where you can play. And like especially for backlines, there's a couple as well. But yeah, I also like the
Yeah.
theme. I mean, giant ramen bowl in the sky. Come on, that's awesome.
Yes, it's definitely got a distinctive theme with the robotic shop. But yeah, like speaking of positions for every weapon, you've also got positions for the frontliners. Like you've got all that low ground area, which you can just totally run around mid and get a little cheeky flank off.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we love a good flank moment, as we saw before.
Yes.
And starting up. Oh, okay.
No shot this time.
And pretty similar comp from them. I think they switched something for a shot though. I don't remember what the old weapon was.
Yeah.
All right. Oh no, we see one go down for the risk takers.
Yes.
Bamboo being hella aggressive, really trying to push in there and get some space going for them.
Yes, Leonidas is trying to push in. But Risk Takers are doing a pretty good job holding their space.
Yeah, really good job considering that they were a few down just a second ago. Even
Yes.
so, oh, maybe not. I was gonna say that they
Yeah,
were doing their best to push
Alana
fully up,
is getting a
but
flank, but
the risk takers
Gray
seems to
goes
be...
for the push and pinches the Tetras, and then they get the shot, and they are snowballing here, and Leonidas gets caught out. They do get a trade, but it's not that useful when you go down when everyone else on your team has just been wiped.
Yeah. Even so, the risk takers are doing an extremely good job of kind of holding this out, in saying that they do need to back up because they are mostly down here. We do see a Trizuka
Yeah.
popped to stall out the grape. Oh god, I cannot remember their name. I'm so sorry. It was something grape.
Grape
While they try to
Garden.
take it. Oh yeah, Grape Garden. Okay, sorry. Ali moving
Okay.
up. Really good play from the Tetris, trying to get some
Yeah.
distractions going. Maybe the rest of their team can move in while this is happening.
Yes,
Oh, yeah?
and they do get in, but they go 2 down pretty quickly. That is not good for Grape Garden.
Yeah, for sure. The risk takers have an extremely strong defense. I mean, we saw from before, even one player down, they were able to hold up Grape Garden very well.
Yes,
Even
indeed,
so,
but
Grape Garden really trying to make this work. They're not giving up their space either.
Yeah,
They still have full control over mid, and I don't see them losing it anytime soon.
yeah, and they did a good job even pushing out Risk Takers from from the pushes that they've done, which really worked compared with the last game where they just didn't survive long enough to be able to really, defend that push. But here they've gotten the break. They might be able to get in more, but probably not worthwhile throwing bodies in when you know you're up against such an aggressive team who will get those picks.
Yeah, for sure.
Saying that, they do actually get the lead.
Yeah, I mean, when you put so much pressure on a team for so long, they're bound to break eventually. But good on risk takers for really having that strong defense for that whole time, and good on Grape Garden for actually cracking through it. Ooh, Tri-Strike
and
spot.
good on the Tetris for actually getting a pick using that, name's slips in one mind,
Autobomb?
yeah, I forgot the special.
Oh,
I forgot the special,
Restarter.
but anyway. Grease Lighter, thank you. No idea why I had a blank out there, but Grape Garden trying to get a bit of a push going, but go 2 down, so they're forced to back out.
Yep, we are still seeing a bunch of mid fights going on. It does seem like Grape Garden has a little bit of an advantage here, though, just from the amount of players that are fighting in mid. But, Risk Takers is taking their time, and they're all regrouping here.
Yes.
Really, they are still being kind of pushed back just a bit, but, we'll see how it ends. We'll see how it ends,
Yes, and after all, watch out considering Katana's flanking, and you got Trey ready to flank as well. That is a lot of pressure coming from every angle, which Garden have to watch out for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right away, those strikes helped a lot for Risk Takers to take back a little bit of space. We see Sword over here trying to farm for their Zuka to get that ready because I guess they assumed that they would have to retake fairly soon, and clearly they were correct because Grape Garden is now on defense.
Yes, indeed, but 2 go down for risk takers. They do have the cooler out for at least some players, so it's struggling to get back in.
Yeah, I mean, Grave Garden did a really good job of holding that defense. They prepared ahead of time and did an extremely good job of executing it. Trey going for another flank.
Yeah.
Let's see how this ends. Oh, they're going fully back. Oh, they're gonna try to jump in balls. Oh, that's so smart right now. Okay, strikes to really seal it in.
Yes,
They
and they
got a
get
couple
the.
points in there, but can they get in the rest? Oh,
Yes, they
yes, they can.
will. That
And
was
that's
very important, and a good job even getting out.
yeah. That was a really, really good play from them because there's only a few seconds left, so something like that could probably get them the win straight right there. Because if not, they might not have had enough time to actually make a coordinated push. So really good job on
These
Trey recognizing that.
Grape Garden have just lost most of their players, so even though they got 2 balls, they don't actually have any real space to work with. And Overtime's pretty quickly running out unless they can get a cheeky flank going.
Good job, guys,
But
getting the two
Gus gets
down.
multiple picks. They don't have time to run in the ball, and they go
Oh,
down 2-0.
that's 2-0 for Risk Takers, correct?
Yes, indeed. Let's take a show once again just how dominant they are.
Yeah, the risk takers did an extremely good job there, especially with like defense, and then also those flanks were just really, really good. I could see why the Grave Gardens struggled a bit there.
Yes, indeed. As good as you might be, you've just got those flanks. Like you saw how good they were at getting, like that shot was at getting all the way around behind the enemy team and just really
Yeah,
just pinching them.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's it for semis. Both these teams did really, really good, but the risk takers just managed to pull a bit ahead in both cases, I would say.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like in the other semis match between Never Back Down and Stardust Inc. Status is still going. Haven't seen Never Back Down yet during this event. Well, Stardust Inc. Status, we saw how good they were during the during the 4th match of semis, not semis, of group stage, where they did a really good job against King DDD.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where both these teams take us, and now we just gotta wait for the next set to be played out, I believe, and
Yeah.
then we can move on to finals.
So we will be going to a quick break while we wait for those couple of matches, and look forward to being back for the finals.
Yeah, finals. Let's see who wins the badge, guys. We.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone, to finals of Coral Clash High Tide. I am Drake, and joining me is the organizer of this event, Bulkel.
Hey! This event, which is going on much later than it usually does, but we all have our favorite company in the world, Nintendo, to thank for that. We'll make it through and have some fun.
Nintendo updates, Battlefield technical difficulties for some people. It has been an idle.
Oh, by the way, Battlefy support emailed me back and asked me if I had an ad blocker active because that could be causing it. Gee, thanks, guys. Yeah, that's why dozens of people weren't able to access your site.
Yeah, including when you turned that off.
Yeah, and it's actually on my phone, which has been working the whole time. There's an ad blocker on. Well, hey, thanks, Battlefy. That's yet another reason to consider different options for our next High Tide. We're cooking.
Yes, there might be announcements about that in the future, but for now, we are about to enter our first match between Risk Takers, a team we have seen much of for this tournament, dominating, versus Never Back Down, Never What. Risk Takers have already won against Never Back Down in the group stage, but it'll be interesting to see how they go in this best-of-5 final.
And Never Back Down, Never What definitely has a pretty good record in Coral Clash, so we look for them to bring their A game. Oh man, someone made a fire map list for this finals. All right, here we go. Umami Zones. We got a pencil and no back, basically. Well, they have a hammer. Or a sword, I mean, sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah, the pencil. I think the first time we've actually seen pencil for this event, which is
right.
unusual. It's been a lot more bucket and
Is it?
fly.
Is it? Okay, that's... So I asked, I think that's Mar on pencil, and so they're going to be a challenge for risk takers.
Indeed, and they're already showing that with how Never Back Down have an early lead as Trey is struggling to actually get in. Trey's usually behind causing all sorts of havoc, but Trey's not getting in. The sword's already gone, but like a Never Back Down sword has gone down.
They have pretty solid control of mid here with the pencil on top mid.
Ooh,
with
but
someone
3
helping.
down. Risk Takers able to get in. Good job on the shot for getting out though, but now Never Back Down needs to break out of this. We see everyone getting set up. Good job by the Stamper causing chaos and distracting. No picks, but does slow down Never Back Down. And a Sun gets 2, including the trade at the end. That will open it up for Never Back Down to push in.
And push there. They got the zone again.
Yes,
No?
The Stamper's back up and slowing down the whole team, and they don't.
This might.
Risk Takers might get lead. No.
Oh,
No.
so close! I thought for sure they were taking the lead there.
Yes, even if Never Back Down has gone down 2 players briefly, it still has slowed down Risk Takers and prevented them from reclaiming the lead.
If this is any indication of the set we have coming up, I'm liking it. This is some intense competition.
Yeah. This is proving to be a spicy one already, as Risk Takers are now back on the defensive.
They're down 1. They might get into points here. Yeah, they got into points.
Yes, they got it back, but only briefly, and they're mostly down again as Guts and Co go down.
Risk Takers go 2 down, yeah.
Meanwhile, a Sun is in there, briefly causing chaos and setting up and ready for stalling the push. Risk Takers need to hurry though, because Never Back Down's about to start claiming points once more.
And they go 3 on each team.
Yes, they're trading back and forth, and Risk Takers have got one zone and doing a good job of claiming a bit of space as the Sniper is forced to fall back, and they get a wipe.
Oh, they lived up to their name there. That was a risky play, but it ended up paying off.
Yes, indeed, and we see the Zipcaster here, which they've just pulled out and gets knifed out of the air.
Bought them a bit of time. The Brush does have a
Yes,
hammer ready.
Yeah, Spec doesn't actually get the like a counter zip caster, which can get some picks, but it still goes down. And Trey's still up, which is going to be particularly challenging for Never Back Down, but zone's neutral at the moment. The
If-
Shotguns and
If risk takers take another penalty here, it's not going to be good for them. Okay, but they've managed to take control of the zone.
only briefly, and Never Back Down's already got one zone, but Asan goes down. At Zuka's top, it
Oh,
gets a pick.
Zuka did get one.
It's it on. I believe that was Lexi who went down. And that is Snowball, which is starting for Never Back for Risk Takers. As Never Back Down got a few too many jumps in trying to hurry and ended up losing the lead with only 15 second points remaining. They do paint that zone. They're nearly there. Like, they do need to paint the other zone, though. This is 2 zones, so 1 zone isn't enough, but they do get it.
We might see overtime.
Maybe indeed. It depends on how Katana goes. They survive the landing and get a trade with the other sword as well, and Risk Takers are doing a good job of just stalling the zone to prevent overtime, but never back down and not giving up so quickly.
Yeah, Son got a pretty critical pick on that right,
Ooh, and
his,
that's a good
their
pick
right
on
zone.
Gus. And that's 3 down for Risk Takers. They're left with a Zuka, which cannot paint. It can only get picks. As they pull it out, do not get any picks. They need to hurry to get that paint on the zone. They get the Sniper Rider. That's big, but they don't have many points left. And
Living up to the name.
Never Back Down did not back down there, and they managed to get, I think, the first game win against Risk Takers.
They indeed did not ever back down. Never. There's that. Wow, that was an exciting match. Despite how long this event has gone, I always like to see the game 5s and finals. So we'll see how intense this competition is.
Oh yeah. And that intensity will continue to Undertow Spillway, a pretty common map which we do see in these sorts of events. So both teams will have their strategies prepared. The Splatanas and like the composition which Risk Takers have is a bit interesting here because you don't have as much of that AoE damage, so they might struggle to put in with some of the ramps in mid, but if they can get past that, there's a lot of different options for them to pinch Never Back Down.
And we'll never back down. Stick with the pencil.
Yeah, pencil's not always the best here. Admittedly, Risk Takers do have the bucket, or they do have the Entride, which provides some AoE, which will be useful here, but it's going to be interesting.
I wonder if everyone's just pressed A, or if we're gonna see some waiting for the comps, which might mean that there's some changes.
Looks like there might be a few changes happening. Yeah, most people are ready, but there's still going to be a few changes here. Or whether it's gear changes or weapon changes, we don't know. But interestingly, it's across both teams. So we might actually see, they're ready, but we might see something a little bit different from Risk Takers for the first time this tournament. Pretty much same comms there, so it's probably just some tweaking, or perhaps someone had to quickly head off elsewhere.
We've got basically the same setups here.
Yeah, same setup for Never Back Down as well, as everyone gets set up ready for try and get the pop, and Never Back Down doesn't get the pop here, but they are doing a good job stalling mid.
Watching Trey's movement is intense.
And the Sun tries to briefly get in, but ends up
Two
getting
there.
a little too close. Lexi gets the jump, but that's 2 down for Never Back Down, even with Cooler. That's a delay. And the Sun goes down again.
I think they're thinking about pushing left here, but don't necessarily have the space to do so.
Yes, but Trade does get some picks. It does help with that, but
w-
it wasn't ultimately written too risky choice as they go down.
They did get the
Well, I
cone
never-
though, so there's progress been made there.
Yes, that is very important. Yes, it was a quick dunk, but does mean that they aren't set up for a particularly good defense at the moment. As Katana goes down, Michimine is getting the Zuka ready and gets some picks, and Trey looks like got the flank on the Rainmaker, allowing for that counter push to come in as they decide to push left this time.
Well, they have gone 2 down.
Yes, both teams have gone 2 down, which thanks to a quick flank from Beck. Interesting choice to pull out the Zipcaster against Katana, though, as the two go down in a trade, and Trey's still in the base. Goes down to a Sun in a trade as well, but Never Back Down doesn't need trades here. They need clean picks.
Risk Takers were up a player there, so they were able to take some space. We'll see if they'll be able to stop Spec on that flank.
Sun tried to push in, but didn't quite get it. The Zoo goes in, but doesn't actually get any picks. Minus opponents though, but they're going through that middle route. That is going to be big for them as they go as
16.
that is a 16 push. It's going to be hard for Never Back Down to match, as especially when they've still got opponents in their base. XOXO does get the flank, and it does look like everyone's been cleared out, except for Guts, who's still in there but dropped. But there's a jump coming in who gets camped, and that means Risk Takers are finally out of Never Back Down's base, and Never Back Down have a bit of space to figure out how to get past 15.
There was someone on the left there. Nope.
No!
They had it. They had it.
Gus got it! Looks like Gustin came from behind.
That was
No.
sneaky. There was
That-
someone fighting
Risk
them
Takers-
over there. You could see on the corner of the screen, but they were able to sneak in and take that. That was
That
devious.
was a very quick dive, especially with getting the pop so quickly. Well, actually, they just took the pop, which had already been done, and just grabbed it and ran with it. So, Risk Takers have decided that apparently they are not happy with losing a game and want to try to get this as quick as possible. But
Also
That's
living
what
up to their name, right?
yes, those were some very big risks they took with how aggressively they played, especially with how they punished Never Back Down's aggressive play as well. Risk Takers, well, they are aggressive, but they also have the skills and teamwork to back that up, especially against such a strong pickup as Never Back Down.
Clam Blitz on Museum. I am a fan of this map mode.
Same here, but I imagine Risk Takers will be finding this a pretty good mode to go in on, because Trace has gotten those additional routes onto the enemy plat. On the other modes, Trace kind of stuck with going around Spinner, but that little block might just make it that little bit harder for Never Back Down to defend, even with the Sniper Rider for that range.
I see
Trey
what you
can just
mean.
stuck behind. If Trey can just sneak around behind, as we saw at the end of, as we saw during those last couple of games, then that is going to make it very hard for Never Back Down to defend.
Indeed. I wonder if we'll see any either team opt for the good old Kraken cheese. It's actually sometimes not as effective on this map because sometimes the Kraken has to travel quite far, and it's not as easy to pull off quickly as on some other
Yeah.
maps. But we'll
Especially
see if
you have a longer ranged weapon and need to maneuver into position. As expected, no Kraken on either team. Everyone's stuck with pretty much the same composition. And we do see someone take that drop route, and Spec is already fighting against much of the team before going, no, I am out of here, and jump to help get the trade on, a pick on Katana. That is a very aggressive first play from Never Back Down, as they've played a good lot of mid.
they're up
They've
2
actually
now.
got That's a very clean set of picks there. Even if they get a trade at the end, they still get those first points, but Risk Takers have already pushed back in, forcing Spec to retreat. They catch Lexi out, but Spec hasn't retreated yet, and that was probably a little bit too aggressive of them.
They're going to have a hard time defending their plat now, having gone down.
Yes, especially with the strikes coming out from Trey, this time on the Octo shot instead
Zip
of
is in?
the vanilla shot. Alana gets in the pick. Zook's out, Sniper Rider's firing, they never back
Sniper
down.
Rider had their
holding
work cut out
space,
for them there.
but Risk Takers are already pushing back in. They get the quick dunk, but they need another clam in order to claim the lead, but they do seem positioned for it. Yes, they do get that clam in, that allows them the lead.
Will
They
they
probably
keep
won't
it
be
open?
satisfied with just that though.
They're still on their plat, though. Okay, they finally got Trey out of there. And,
Lana was not going down either, laying never back down and allowing the Risk Takers to just sit up, ready for defense again. And
we're having some skirmishes in mid here. Risk Takers go 2 down. They do have a Zuka ready.
Yes, that Zuka will be useful, and we can see Michimine is holding off on collecting more clams, so that way Zuka comes off as a surprise. It does catch Asan out before Asan can pop off that Ultra Stamp.
They're not.
Spec skirmishes with the rest of the team, but goes down
3 down.
ultimately, and Risk Takers are already back in the enemy base and have gotten 2 powers in, and the strikes are only now coming out to provide cover for some additional clams. They are down to 33 points remaining on the board, and they have still only just gotten Risk Takers out of the base as Kalana took time to go down, and Gus is already setting up for the next push. They've got 2 specials ready, but that's a lot of specials that they've already had to burn.
Indeed. We'll see if Never Back Down can once again live up to their name here, because they're in a pretty tough spot. And as I say that,
That is a lie, but it was some good points on the board. Looked like maybe a couple power clams, but it's not enough to quite, well, at least 1 power clam, but not quite enough to actually get in.
yeah, they had to sort of spend a lot to get those points. But they did bring the lead much closer. They still need
that power clam and change in order to actually get through penalty. As they try to get the Zuka, they do get a pick, which will be useful, especially on Kalana. Then Michimine goes down. Trey and Gus are setting up for defense.
Never Back Down is a very good situation here.
Something's happened with Lexi. They've just stopped. Maybe an Oceania lag moment. But that was a little bit aggressive.
So someone yelled at them from the other room.
That was a bit of an aggressive push from Ma on the Sniper Rider, and we do see, with 50 seconds left on the board, like for the match, Risk Takers are doing a pretty good job of holding mid. There is still the option. Never Back Down can still push in. They've got the resources to do so, but they need picks. They do have a pick on that Stamper, but Asan is struggling to get in there with the power clam.
They have the clams now.
They've got 2 powers. That's enough to get in if they can get the dunk. We do see Kalana get the pick. Trey throws out into the strikes, which don't get any picks, but do force the clam holders back and allows for some additional picks from Risk Takers. And with 10 seconds left on the board, Spec going down, then it's going to be hard for Never Back Down to push through, even with the 3 power clams. And Asan
and Asan got picked. Yeah, on the left there. That was
getting into the base. Lexi's still there and trying to push in and claim space, but goes down to Zuka. That's 3 down. Only Asan left. Trey ready to give jumps, and we see Michimine, I think, jump in, and they get the basket broken, and that is match point for Risk Takers.
solid finish there for Risk Takers. I thought that Never Back Down was going to have another push at it, but it looks like they shut that down.
Yes. Never Back Down, we're ready to push, but the tricky bit about holding so many power clams is that you end up with everyone having visible targets.
Right.
That is
right.
a massive risk when you're up against the risk takers. Like, maybe if Hassan had a toss back the power clam, tried to do a little bit more of a flank, and gotten in a few jumps, even if it had have been effective if just everyone wipes out, you could at least get into the lead and then try to set up ready for the final push.
Yeah, sometimes you want your ink brush to have the ball because if they move somewhere, the other team sort of has to look there or has to go there. But other times you really don't, huh?
Yeah, Sun did struggle a little bit with being picked out so much in that game, and even a little bit in the previous ones. The Sun just struggled to use the mobility ink brush effectively. They're good at it, but risk takers do know how to fight the ink brush.
I think also, they have a sub in, at least one, and they might not be 100% dialed in on their comp and what's supposed to do what.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Never Back Down this game because I want to see a game 5.
Yeah,
And
Tacklefish Market, which is known as a good sniper item map.
I was about to say, I think that they have a bit of an edge here with the sniper, but we'll have to see what if we see any changes in the comps or strategies and what teams bring out.
Everyone figuring out the last bits of their comp as we go into match point for risk takers and see who can win Hagglefish Market Tower Control.
Again, somebody made a really fire map list for this. With someone else's really fire advice. Thanks, Brace.
Happy to help. But yes, we see pretty much the same comp as usual from them, but we see the ranged blaster and ooh, interesting to see the Neo Splash.
The Neo Splash on this map is actually very, very annoying. There's so much paint they can pick up. I wonder how many strikes he'll have by the end.
Probably trying to aim for double digits, or well, not aiming for it. They want the quick KO if they are up against risk takers, but if it goes long enough, they will go for the. They want to go for the full lot.
And they brought out the range blaster.
Yes, but if the range blaster goes down, that's a good trade against Trey, but Never Back Down is still down a player. Kalana can't get the shark on the sun though, which is very useful.
And Never Back Down are definitely coming out aggressive here.
Yeah. Yes, there's a very aggressive sniper rider position as we see Asan pop the strike, and Kalana can't get the pick. Lexi's trying to get a few shots off the side, but yeah, coming in and just goes down because up against 3 players without backup. The strikes are doing a good job of delaying Never Back Down from getting many points on the board, but Mr. Mine is trying to get a little flank, succeeding in drawing attention away and surviving, and Speck is trying to get the pick but can't. In fact, it's now Speck on the shot instead of Lexi, which is an interesting retain the same weapon but different players.
Definitely interesting. We do that sometimes on my team, so I understand, but it's interesting.
Yes, and Gus gets 2. That's a big, that's multiple big picks, and that's a 3rd down as well. That's pretty much a delayed wipe by the looks of it, as the rest of the team have done a good job claiming space. Although Jimmy A appears to be setting up for a little bit more paint there, trying to get the Zuka ready to push in. Actually, strikes come out from the sun to stop the tower push, especially as they've nearly won. Well, not nearly won, but nearly broken tech, and they've claimed lead. Zook comes out, but a little bit late and doesn't get the pick. Does disrupt tower temporarily, but it's still going. The advantage of using the squeezer on this map against the sniper is that it can actually have that little bit of arc over the top of glass, which means that you can't have the sniper rider hide behind the back of glass quite as easily.
Yeah, they were pressuring the Sniper very hard that whole time, to where they could hardly get shots off, and if they wanted to live.
Yes,
Definitely a
which
good
slows down their
strategy.
rate of coolers as well, as Lexi goes down again, and the Zuka's out for Michamine as they fire off the shots. Only Ma up from the Knife Rider, and that's already a push to second checkpoint. As Kalana gets some good shots,
Into
never
the
back down to
checkpoint.
3 down again, with Ma going down as well in the delayed wipe. Lexi trying to defend against Kalana.
This could snowball.
Gets forced out as Trey just drops strikes in order to disrupt the defensive position. That is checkpoint 3 broken, but 2 go down for risk takers, and only Kalana is near the tower. They never back down, have just managed to stop that push. That is 92 points that risk takers have gotten. And even as they're still going down here a little bit from aggressive jumps and being forced back, that is a very big lead they've got.
3 checkpoints with a minute remaining is a tall order, but we have seen Never Back Down mount some comebacks, so we'll have to see
Yes, indeed.
if they're able to
Risk-
get past, especially if they're able to get past this first and second checkpoint.
Yes, they're doing a good job of disrupting. Gus is kind of pinched back there and hasn't given the cool the rest of the team, but then they pop it, ready for Trey and Toad to pick it up. But risk takers are 2 down again. That is a solid player advantage that Never
They
Back
do
Down
have
is
2
maintaining.
Zukas, or 2 specials
Yes,
though, sorry.
Yes, the Zukas and the strikes go
strikes.
out, which does end up forcing Never Back Down to give up that checkpoint as Ma ends up caught. Specs trying to skirmish, but decides to sit on the tower as the Sun is trying to get a flank, but doesn't actually succeed. Trey catches them out. They're 3 down with 20 seconds remaining, in fact. Never Back Down need to grab the tower as soon as they can, or they are going to lose this tournament.
Well, they're gonna get, or they're gonna get second in this tournament. We
Sun
should-
is down. They can't get there in time, and
Ah.
risk takers win. This set 3-1, and that means that they win the tournament and
Congratulations
the
to Risk Takers.
Yes, they have done an excellent job there. And throughout the whole tournament, they have been dominant. And congratulations as well to Never Back Down for taking a game off of them. Would have been good to see a game 5, but risk
I'm
takers
always
were
rooting for
aggressive.
Game 5. Yes,
indeed.
definitely, and they earned that. They hardly dropped anything the whole tournament, I believe, as you mentioned. Definitely good job to Risk Takers.
Yes. Good job to Never Back Down as well for getting second place this event.
And looks like Grape Garden has taken third. Our winners for the silver bracket were Alliance Moon, with Wavebreaker taking second and League of Legends taking third.
And so that is Coral Clash High Tide number 7. The next deadline will be coming up soon from Cephalopod Cooperative as well. And then we'll have Coral Clash Low Tide number 8 in a fortnight's time. But the next High Tide you see might be a few changes to it.
Maybe a few, and especially after the issues with Battlefied today, we'll say that might be.
Oh,
one of
yes, indeed.
that might be one of the changes.
Yes,
Okay.
Definitely have some plans for any more Nintendo inflicted or Battlefield inflicted issues, but
Thanks,
Anyway.
Jorian. Thanks, Breaks.
yes, thank you again to our excellent streamer Joyan. And where can the folks find you, Bullkelp?
Oh, on Twitter is the only thing where I'm not just Bullkelp. Twitch and Discord, I'm just Bullkelp. But Twitter, I'm Bull_Kelp. So that's where you can find me on there if I ever remember to look at it. How about you, bud?
I don't have any of those sorts of socials, so your best bet is to find me organising a tournament somewhere, maybe substituting. Been a while since I've done a tournament, but might be trying to find some more spots soon. But anyway, that is it from us tonight. Hope you all have enjoyed the slightly scuffed edition of Coral Clash.
Yeah, we'll definitely have some standards in place for in case they pull a surprise update on us again. It's usually not on that day, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll have a solid way of dealing with it that everyone already knows what it is, and that ought to help. But
Yeah.
I really wanted to give a shout out to everyone involved in this tournament. The players for just being so good to each other and to the staff despite the frustration. You know, I didn't see
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
even being rude, let alone like
Yes.
angry or whatever about it. So it really is appreciated, and you guys show why Splatoon community is pretty cool.
Yes.
There's been
We
some
always
negativity
appreciate-
lately, and you want to in the community. I mean, you want to bring up that positive attitude.
Oh, yes. Yes, the positivity of the community, as always, good to celebrate what positivity we have, and this tournament has been, thankfully, as you said, pretty good despite those issues.
All right. I think we're off.
Yes, have a good night.
Night.
Or day, depending on where you are.